Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. So, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about FUNCRECOL's resin, the 111 miniature resin. And I told y'all how impressive I thought it was and how much I thought it was doing a great job. And as of one of our, probably our only resin reviews, as we really don't do reviews that much on this channel, I hate to admit this, but I think I was wrong. It's There's actually something a little better. Now, it's made by the same company, it's still made by FUNCRECOL, but it is their 121, and this is their red wax color. I wish this camera picked it up a bit better. I'm going to show y'all some footage of this in a second. This is by Witchsong Miniatures. This is the Faceless Queen, and it's the bust version of it. I did the support work in Halloween, and man, was I impressed with when this came off the printer. Now, this is the 121. This is the technically this is like their creme de la creme as far as statue materials. This is definitely made for collectibles. I mean, you could use it for your tabletop pieces if you're really looking to impress and get some high details. But this is definitely on the level of collectibles. Now, very much like the 111 miniature resin, as we talked about in that episode, I told you I had to crank the printers down. But I think what impressed me most, I don't really care too much about the speed. I'm using these tests on an old Photon Mono 4K. I mean, this printer is out of date. They don't even make them anymore. Now they have the Mono 2. So essentially, I'm using this resin on a very old printer, and I'm getting results that, in my opinion, look, just flawless. I'm thinking to myself, what's this going to look like on an 8K printer or something better? Now that Anycubic is promising 12K, and I think what the M5 Pro is 14K. Not that I think any of that stuff is really much more than marketing, because eventually the resolution gets so high the human eye really can't tell the difference between one or the other. And I'm not saying it's not going to improve your print value, because getting something like this on with subpar resin isn't wouldn't be possible. But when you're talking about levels of just plain old quality, that came off of a 4K printer. So if anybody has doubts that you can produce amazing things with a 4K printer, don't doubt it. It's not the printer that holds the limitation. It's more the material and the style of what you're printing. If you're printing everything at 50 microns, you're going to wind up with, you're going to see more layer lines, stuff like that. If you're printing fast, you're going to have more failures than you will successes. And I think those are things that are important to consider. And using the FUNCRECOL resin has actually kind of reminded me that sometimes slow and steady is the way to go. But anyway, we're going to get a little bit more into this. I'm going to show you all some photos of the piece, because honestly, video doesn't do it too much justice. You really honestly need to see it in person, but photos are as good as I can get. And we'll do a little roundtable video, and then I'll come back and give you my conclusions on what I feel about this resin. So this is simply just a roundtable view of the statue. Again, this is a piece by Witchsong Miniatures. This is the Faceless Queen, and it is the bust edition. They do offer these in pre-supported varieties. You can find them on My Mini Factory, and their tribe can be joined for just $1. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for some high-quality figures to paint and collect. I think one of the things that gets me the most is how deep some of the details are and just how sharp everything looks. The supports also came off super easy, much like the 111 resin. So stuff is just really winning points with me all around. So I want to take a minute to show y'all the settings that I was using along with the file, so you can see that this was something that we set up. So the FUNCRECOL 111 resin used a very slow, I wouldn't say very slow, it was a bit slower lift, retract. It had a very long light off delay. There were a lot of caveats to it. The quality was great, but some of y'all asked me, hey, Is there a way to improve on the speed? The answer to that is yes. You can take the chance and you can totally speed up your elevator and you can test that to see if it'll work. But what I've been finding, even on some other reviews of this resin, is that some folks have had issues with the print because they're not slowing down their print or they're not using enough on the cure time. Now, these are the settings that I'm using at 35 microns for this particular resin. If you want to take a moment here to jot that down, this is the settings that I use to successfully print the piece that you were looking at. 50 seconds for the bottom layer. You got 5 layers on the number of layers there. The transition is 5. Lift distance is 8. Your lift speed is going to be 60. Your retract speed is going to be 60 to 100. Again, on the same on that side, and your normal exposure time is 3.5 seconds with a light off delay of 1. Again, the lift distance is the same on the burn-in and the normal layers. The reason that it's being slowed down is because this resin does have there's a chance that if you're moving too fast, it's going to split. It's not that it's fragile. It's that it needs time for the layers to really solidify together. And I think just hard tearing can happen when you're not going towards the manufacturer's recommended specs. Now, these are the recommended specifications that I actually got from FUNCRECOL themselves, from the representative that I was speaking to. And yes, we did get this resin for free. And thank you very much, FUNCRECOL, for that, because we do appreciate testing out new material. But I am not biased into saying anything good about these people. I could have honestly gone into this experience and had a really terrible time. But this stuff has been fantastic. They have a very nice bottle with a nice locking cap on it. It has a little cut tab on the top, so if you want to take the tab off, the top of the jar off, and you can use it to cut the foil off, so that's nice and handy. The viscosity of it is very thin. It's more like milk rather than a milkshake. And I think that might actually have a lot to do with the speed slowdowns. The resin becomes more turbulent when it's thin. So as the build plate's moving up and down, I think what's happening is it's churning the resin a little too much, and you wind up with these pockets that don't get filled very well, or the resin doesn't flow back. Hence also why I think there's a light off delay and rest period that's recommended for this particular resin. But this is how I did it. These are my settings. That is the printer it was printed on. We printed on the 4K. And we did this at 35 microns. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why didn't you try this on the Ultra or Saturn II or Uniformation? To be honest, we really wanted to try this on one of the lowest format printers we have and one of the smallest printers we have first. Because one of the reasons why I love the 4K, and they are just absolute workhorse printers, is they can produce some really nice looking prints as long as you're using good material. If you're using basic standard material, no, just go kiss your frustrations, because that's all you're going to get. If you are using good material, and one of the reasons we upgraded to DLP Craftsman was because it got us much better prints. It also got us much better success rates. It was curing better. But we speed that up. We should be printing that a little bit slower than we are, but I've actually sped that up a bit. I've just increased the cure times per layer, which seems to compensate for the speed. So you're really paying for the time somewhere, one way or the other. So I think that the point is that don't always be in a hurry to finish the print faster. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, you want a good print. You don't want a fast print. And I think getting a good print means sometimes in these cases is to slow down. A lot of people are very much in a hurry to get their prints done, and I think it shouldn't always be a race to get to the end. I personally don't care if it takes 10, 13, or 20 hours. I would rather it take that long than have a bad print or a non-successful print. Anyway, we're going to cut over to some photos of this so you can take a little bit more of a look at it. And then we're going to cut to a 10-second spot from our sponsor. Just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about our sponsor, Strikingly.com, where you can make your own website in just a few minutes. Build your brand, conquer the world, and there are no code skills required whatsoever. Trusted by millions of entrepreneurs and creative folks around the world, it's quite possibly one of the easiest website builders known, as far as I know anyway. Easily click, edit any part of the website you want, no coding experience needed, add an e-commerce store, and track everything from analytics to sales and even contact forms. You can set up a simple blog, a store, you can have custom domain names, even set up your social. There's 24/7 support, and most plans, well, beginner plans, are all free. Beyond that, it's $12 a month or $8 a month if you choose to go yearly. Check out more on strikingly.com or click the link in our description below. So that's it for the show and tell for this review. I will actually say that without a doubt in my head, FUNCRECOL 121 statue resin is by far one of the highest detailed resins I have ever used. Highly recommended to anybody who's looking to capture high detail, high quality. If you're looking to make a collectible that's going to last a while, this stuff definitely seems like it is worth the time and the money. As far as cost go, I believe I saw it on Amazon for the same price as the 111. It didn't seem any more expensive. And honestly, both of those resins are pretty comparable. The major differences being that one feels a little bit more brittle on the support side, and the little tiny pieces do feel like they could snap a little easier. Whereas with the 121 formula, I feel like it's a little bit more durable. It's got a bit more strength there. And the supports didn't feel like as brittle as the other ones, but then, they did break away just as easy. So I think, again, it all depends on how you're using your support structures on how that's going to work out. But my end verdict here is I definitely give this resin a 10 out of 10. Fantastic product. Very, very easy to use as long as you follow the instructions based on the manufacturer's recommended settings. And that does mean slowing your printer down. That does mean upping the cure time a little bit, probably further than you want to, because I know a lot of folks are really concerned about speed and getting the prints done faster. But again, like I said earlier in today's video, it's not about the speed. It's all about the quality of the print at the end of the day, and I think that matters more. So if you're not too hyper concerned with the fact that it's going to take you an extra day to maybe print out something that's a little bit more elaborate and big versus just getting subpar quality. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of resins out there that can get you some decent quality. And if you have an 8K printer, maybe it doesn't matter to you so much because you're still getting good prints regardless of the resin you're using, although I still firmly believe this will probably get you the most amazing results ever on an 8K printer, which we're going to do some testing on that in the future. Again, maybe this isn't something you want to spend the money on. Maybe you're happy with your standard resins, your ABS resins, whatever. Personally, I feel like if you're really looking for high depth and really good detail, this might be the way to go. For less than $30 for half a kilogram, it's not too bad. It's not the most expensive. It's not like dental resin. It's not costing you like 80 to 100 bucks for a bottle. So you don't have to worry about that. Yes, Sure, $50 for a kilogram does sound expensive in comparison to standard resins that cost about $20 for a kilogram. But what you're getting in exchange is you're getting a resin that's far more capable than the standard resins. And yes, you're going to have to set your printers, to slow down. You're going to have to up that cure time. Sure, your prints are going to take a little longer, but I'm telling you, you're going to be happy with those results. Definitely be sure to check these folks out. Highly recommend it. Again, the name of the resin is FUNCRECOL. It is the 121 statue resin. I highly recommend it. And that's pretty much it for this review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching.